Chic West Podcast is heart-opening dialogues for self-identified women on a Chic West, a movement moving forward, striving to live aware, bold, and whole. Welcome. Okay, welcome to your fifth Chic West Summer School Podcast guest series. It's me, Estelle. And this fifth guest show is all about women in art. Today on the show, I couldn't be more thrilled to introduce someone I've loved and cherished and looked up to with all my heart for so many years. Hannah Thomson grew up in Halifax, but has been in New York for 20 plus years, working and mastering being a photographer for the likes of Vogue and Vanity Fair and private high-profile clients. And while she's an event photographer, her passion lies in portraiture. And I think of her as a portrait master. Her expertise really lie in capturing people's essence, and she does it with brio. I'm lucky enough to say she's my sister-in-law, and she was the photographer at my own wedding, and a human I hold very, very dear in my heart. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
I'm so glad you're here, all the way from New York, from Brooklyn. Yay. So because on Chic West, the program is all about striving to live aware, bold, and whole. I've been starting all the podcasts with the ritual of asking my guests what makes you feel alive today. So I'm asking you, what makes you feel alive today?
I guess just being alive and living in the moment and not taking things for granted, trying not to take things for granted, and just really appreciating right now. I say that confidently now, but I feel like it's taken me my whole life to reach this point with some certainty of, I know there's a lot more growing that will happen, but I think I'm in a good place right now where I really feel present now, and that makes me feel alive, and I'm grateful for that.
I can feel it in your voice. I love that. I love that. Hannah, I wanted you on Chic West for like many reasons. One is because I admire you a lot. We kind of talked about this, like you're our guest for the art module of the program. And like, not only do I think of you as someone who's worked professionally in like art in her life, but also that has had to learn to make time for her passion. So I guess I just wanted you to talk to us about over the years, like how have you reclaim and reframe this word art? Like, for example, maybe it's easier to think about it, like think about you like 10 years ago, what you knew about art and what like you know about art now.
Right. I mean, I've always been a visual person, and I was always attracted to artwork and artists and seeing how things are made. And I always kind of had like a natural ability and desire towards like just drawing and looking at nice images in books when I was growing up in Halifax. And then I always took art class because I enjoyed it. It was like my favorite class, but I never actually understood, like, at the time when I was, a teenager and a kid, that would be a lifelong development and process. And when I was in my 20s and going to university, I was very lost. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be, and I felt very lost. And I felt like a lot of my peers and friends kind of knew. And then when I was in university, all the students that were in the fine arts program, I was kind of envious of them. And long story short, I ended up studying fine arts, where I was surrounded by my peers who were incredible, who were interested in the same things I was. And I just kind of when I was studying like drawing classes, which were very physical, and painting, my heart just kind of the floodgates opened. Like I let it in and I grew, and it was just like kind of being in the unknown and then discovering so much and learning to look inside myself. And it was very, very fulfilling and it gave me a lot of confidence. But I still didn't think of like making art as like a career, or I needed something kind of practical. So I started doing photography at the coast in Halifax, and I loved that. I loved shooting portraits. There were all these interesting people coming to the city, and there were, people who lived in the city. That was like 20, over 20 years ago. Like authors and politicians and activists and actors and musicians. And I loved it because there was like a human connection, and it was like a real challenge to like take people's portraits. I loved it. And then, of course, that kind of led to a career in photography. And and I moved to New York. And in the beginning, I was kind of like a deer in headlights. I was documenting fashion for Vogue magazine, and I would be in these huge museums, like for events, like the Frick Museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Metropolitan Opera. I really got to see the whole city at all these different events. And in the beginning, I was like really excited by it, but then I became more and more experienced, and then I kind of shifted more into work that I loved, but it was commercial. So I did that for 15 years. I worked so hard. It's just recently that I've kind of decided to take a giant step backward from the commercial work and give space to go back to the more personal growth and discovery, which is hard. You have to, I find it very hard to make the time for it. It's been an ongoing process, but it's something I really need to do. So
And do you still paint and draw? Or I mean like
I'm very inspired by your paintings and drawings. A little bit, not as much as I would like to, but I'm really like just in the last year stepping back from slowing down my commercial work and kind of almost like giving myself space to kind of just open up and see. So yeah, I mean, I am so inspired by you, Estelle. You're always with a notebook or you're painting, and you're just like on. It's inspired me a lot.
but it's different. I mean, I always remember Hannah when we came to visit you and like just realizing how hard you work. Like I forget when, but you
I
just
think it was
said
like 4 years ago. I mean, I barely saw you.
okay, wow. Wow. Okay, that's too long.
Okay.
And and you literally like didn't sleep like all night. You were like editing.
Oh my
And
God.
like I remember like going to bed, you were like in front of your computer, like and
Yeah.
I woke up and you were like still in front of your computer and I was like,
Yeah.
you went to sleep, right? And you're like, no, not really. I was like never
Yeah.
realizing just how hard like you've worked, you know?
I mean, I was like living my dream doing this work. I really, really was passionate about it. And I mean, I love doing it, which is why I did it. But I guess as I became more experienced and my reputation kind of developed, I have a great list of clients that are very loyal to me. But in that kind of, yeah, you definitely saw me. I was like working like crazy. So it was great and it was fulfilling, but I kind of, it was almost like I was not cranking out a product, but I wasn't having the growth or discovery that is so exciting, in your 20s
Yeah.
and 30s. I'm in my 40s now. So
Yeah.
now it kind of affords me an opportunity because I can kind of like create this space now to discover and grow via, I'm going away this weekend to Ohio to, which is kind of a crazy place to visit, but I'm going there to work on a personal project. And yeah, and you have
Can you tell us about it? Or is it secret?
it's not really secret, but I've always had like a fascination with twins and triplets and quadruplets for numerous reasons related to my family because there's a lot of twins, like
Yeah.
on my mother's.
Oh my God, I love the latest pictures. They're so
So
good.
I'm going back to that this year, but that's a personal project. Like I'm going there on my own. I don't have an assignment. It's just something I feel really passionate about and I'm just going. But, you have to create that space. And I think it took me a long time to let go of the more commercial guaranteed, I mean, everyone needs financial stability, but I guess I'm learning in my old age
Yeah, right. Yeah.
to really,
Yeah.
you have to give yourself permission and it's okay and you can let go. And I think fear has held me back a lot because there's when you have a good thing going on, which you do with your work as well, when you have a good thing going on with your work, you want to preserve it. You have like great clients you really care about, and it's hard to kind of step away from that and really give yourself, at least for me, give myself permission to just
For you, just for
do work for, yeah, it's really hard, but it's taken me a while and it's been baby steps, but I'm getting there, and you forget how much growth is there. Like I kind of compare it to like an open sky. Like nothing. I live in Brooklyn, New York, which is very crowded. There's so many dogs, so many babies, so many people, so much cement, so many high rises. It smells, but I love it. When I get on the road and it's open skies or I'm by the ocean, it's like so spiritually uplifting for me. It just, I can really feel a connection to my heart. And, I turn that off a lot here. Like it's really hard. You have to, I meditate, which and do breathing. I started doing that in the past couple of years and it really helps. But I guess you have to kind of create the parameters. Like you have to go out of your way to make it happen.
Yeah. And was there, if you look back, like, was there a moment that we're like, okay, I really need to make more time? Like, was there, or it was just maybe over time, or just,
It's kind of been on I guess I felt like in the past like 10 years, the last 15 years, I've been very busy working and I love it. But like you said, you saw me like never sleeping.
yeah,
And I don't have children. My work was my passion, but it was too much,
yeah,
and I have just learned to kind of slow
put
down.
it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you started talking a little bit about it, but at Chic West, we also, I like to talk to other women about like their own tools for personal growth. And I'm wondering, like you already said, like meditating and breathing, but do you have like some favorite one? And just knowing you like personally, I know you love cooking, which is like been
Yeah.
really healing for you, but do you have like rituals like they're kind of that help you like ground yourself or like center yourself in your power? And two, because like we're specifically talking about art with you,
Yeah.
like what do you do?
I like reading the news.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That calms you?
Oh no. But
Oh,
I kind of like. I guess I like knowing what's going
like
on.
right.
I
You know
might
what? And you're not the first person who's said that to me. Like they love reading the news. Like it like grounds them down or something.
also procrastinate too.
So funny because it does the opposite for me. I just get all like nervous about the state of the world, and
It's
like, my
true.
anxiety gets like higher or something.
Yeah, it's true. I go in and out, like, on and off. But I guess that was kind of a strange answer. But I also, like you said, I love cooking, and I find, I live in Brooklyn. I don't have a yard, and I don't have children. So I find it very therapeutic and nourishing to like baby my plants and, do interesting cooking and stuff like that. But as for my art,
Like, do you have a ritual before you take a portrait of somebody or like beforehand? And you don't have to have one. Like, I'm just curious.
I don't. I feel like just by creating the time
Yeah.
and space
Yeah.
to give myself permission to explore this work is like, if I can do that, then it's good.
Yeah.
Because it was really hard for me for a long time to kind of give myself permission to make work. I don't know if you
Yeah.
find that. I mean, to me, you are just like like, what do you say? You're just like running all the time. You're just making stuff and teaching and healing and
But when you love, I mean, and you get that too. Like when you love what you do, it seems like that stuff fires me up, you know? I get like just fired up.
do you feel like you have that space? Like, how do you create the space to? I mean, you have like a lot of um, I don't know, is the word clients and classes and workshops.
I feel like you like this year I've really learned to like streamline a lot and you mentioned that too like it's like in hindsight like I wouldn't be able to do what I do now if I hadn't done such the hard work, the grunt of it in the beginning when I was starting my
Right,
business, you know? And but I do have to carve the time to still, and that's the tricky business when it's like your work is like art. It's like, and it's also what
right,
you love doing, like to, you know, like if I do like a painting to be like, okay, this will sell, but another painting, like this is really what I want to paint, you know, and then to be like, oh, do I paint what I know for sure it's going to sell? Or do you
right,
know what I mean? And I feel that's kind of the same for you where
yeah.
you know, you could just continue to do like event photography and this and that, but it's not really where your heart is, you know?
Well, it's also like with you. I know you love your business, and
Yeah.
it kind of evolved, or it evolved organically. I think it's grown into something that I don't know if you saw it
A bit of both.
happening or just kind of, but it's still like your business. You have like these responsibilities, and it's part of what you do for your career.
Yeah, and it took a long time like to just take me seriously, you know, and be like, okay, like this is like legit, you know?
No, but you've always been kind of, I guess we're similar in a way, like very determined. And even if I know fear holds me back a lot, but I don't know. I just look at you as someone's, if you dream it, you can do it?
Oh, I try my best.
But how do you step away from, even though your work involves art, healing, and yoga, how do you step away from that and create space for yourself? Like you said, oh, this is what I really want to paint. And I guess that's something that kind of really made me think, okay, why am I not doing that then? Why am I not doing things? You only live once. Why am I not doing things? I mean, everyone needs to earn a living, but I think if you can get rid of the fear and let go and create space, even if it's not a lot of time, it's like a muscle.
Uh,
I think the more you um, move it and exercise it, it grows.
exactly.
But you have to create the time. And that's, for me, I mean, it's becoming easier because I've been slowly taking baby
Yeah.
steps towards doing this, and I'm going to Ohio next year.
Yay.
So it's all possible.
It is. It is all possible. So you said you like you meditate and you do, is there like a specific like breathing exercise you do?
Sound baths. There's a great place in my neighborhood, very close to where I live, called Maha Rose, and they have some great healers and teachers there. So I do like kind of rebirth breathing. How do you say
Pranayama.
I've gone to some sound baths that were
Yeah.
really interesting, where I think sound is something I've just started exploring in the last year. And it's a sense that we don't really recognize a lot, but it's so powerful.
So powerful. Yeah. Yeah. We're made of wavelength and vibration. So
Yeah.
sound healing is really potent. Yeah. Amazing.
But the breathing definitely is great
Yeah.
for just getting flow and oxygen and opening things up. It's like, well, I think before I actually did my first breathing work a couple of years ago, I told you I was interested, and you were you were all for it, but you were just telling me about. I think you went to a breathing
Oh my God.
in or a sound, no, a breathing in um,
Well,
Costa Rica, or anyway, it's great.
no, I totally remember. So I went to this work. It was called Breakthrough Breathing, and I mean, as a yoga teacher, I realized just how powerful the breathing was. But I always combine it with movement, and like both of us, we've loved yoga, we've loved hot yoga for like many years, right?
Yeah,
But I had never actually, and that I think I was telling you that like 3 or 4 years ago. I had never actually just focused on my breath for
yeah,
like an hour and a half. And I was telling, and the workshop was called like breakthrough breathing. I mean, it was so intense.
yeah,
Um, like I feel, and there was like so many like people, like just reaction and emotions in that room. It was like unlike anything I've ever like
yeah.
experienced before. And it just showed me like it didn't like I was like I mean, I think I was telling you like, oh my god, if I didn't have the background that I have, I would be totally like
Charming.
weirded out. I'd be like like, oh my god, like this is. But because I just made me realize just oh my word, like this stuff is really that shit works.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and we had and too like to just go like even in that workshop, I feel like just I went until I could like I think I totally like dissociate like after like 30 minutes I was like okay, I can't do anymore, but that's the most that I could do.
Right.
Even 5 minutes of breathing exercise, it really does make a change in your day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to create space for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay, I have a few more
okay.
questions, Hannah.
Okay.
You ready? Okay. Knowing what you know about art now, what does it mean for you to be an artful woman?
Oh, gosh.
I know it's loaded. I know. Like, think of art not just as like your career and your passion, but like the art, maybe more that's like your
I guess I'm
life.
understanding more as I get older, and you have so much growth in life and so many different experiences, and you meet so many people, and you have good times and bad times. And I guess, like, looking back on my life, I can see that, like, art is something that's always been there in front of me.
Yeah.
And I look back and I can see the growth and how I evolved as a person that came through creating art or being around people that are making art or looking at art. And if I kind of look at it on a broad scale, I mean, it's growth and learning and exploration. As a woman, I don't know, it's really interesting right now how with social media, how everything is changing so much. I find like
Yeah.
with sharing information about art and people getting more exposure and recognition for creating work than they
Yeah.
wouldn't have had. It's more democratic. They wouldn't have had those tools like
Totally.
10, 15 years ago. I don't know if I
Yeah.
really answered your question, but
That's okay. It was a loaded one. Okay, the last questions are just like quick kind of answers. Are you ready?
yeah,
Okay, what's your favorite mantra?
I guess I always tell myself see the light.
See the light.
Yeah, I imagine light inside me, and it always kind of calms me and brings me into the moment.
Oh, I love that. See the light. I'm gonna write that down. Taking notes, Hannah. Taking notes. What's your favorite flower?
Gosh. I like orchids. I guess I really like plants. Like, I find them really healing being around plants.
They are
Yeah. And like taking care of them and stuff like that. So,
your babies.
yeah. I mean, I love flowers, but I love nurturing plants.
What's your favorite book? Favorite book you've read in the past 6 months?
My boyfriend is always after me because he really loves to read fiction. I read a lot of like photographers' autobiographies or biographies. Well, I guess my favorite book I read this past year was on Diane. Diane. Some people call her Dion. I call her Diane. Diane Arbus. Just another biography someone wrote about her, which I'm very obsessed with her. So, yeah.
You have your library is like the best library. I'll have to check it out. What about, do you listen to podcasts?
I listen to some of the Oprah podcasts and the Goop,
Yeah.
and then Oprah's on the first one.
Oh, the Goop has a podcast?
See, I'm not one of these millennials. I would like to get more into podcasts, but like I've listened to some of the
Yeah.
big ones, but yeah, I feel like I need to like sit down with you and get your list.
I have a pretty good list. I'm obsessed with podcasts.
What's his
The
name? That
cranky
cranky
guy.
guy. Baldwin.
Oh,
Alec
he's so
Baldwin.
funny.
Here's the
Oh my
thing.
word. Alec Baldwin's so funny. Okay. Yoga or running? I think I know the answer.
Yoga.
Book or Kindle?
Book.
Coffee or wine?
Tough call. Wine.
Wine? Are you sure? Not at Timmy's? I meant to tell you when I went to Spain, I saw a Tim Hortons.
What?
Yeah, I know.
In Barcelona?
In Barcelona. Can you believe it?
They have Tim Hortons here, but it's like the baked stuff isn't as good. The coffee doesn't taste quite the same. But I'm coming back to the so we'll be making our daily trip.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you. And I just want to thank you for taking like the time to talk to me. It's such it's just so fun to like talk to you about this stuff.
I know.
Yeah, I hope we do it again. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.